Yeah. So, welcome to Wednesday Night Live. I'm Marcus. I'm solo hosting tonight, and tonight we're going to be talking about uh, communication barriers. I was thinking about this title just the other day, actually Monday. I was driving, and things were popping in my head, I was just thinking what some of the things that was happening to me, and I was analyzing myself. And one of the things I was realizing is, as much as my communication has increased over the years, it's still not what it's supposed to be. And what happens is, there's a lot of communication barriers that I have developed over the years, and I'm always trying to break them down. And I was like, yo, through all these lives and all these topics we talk about, what's the one thing, that common answer for all of them was communication. Without communication, there's no success. There's no production. There's no upward momentum. And what they say, one of the biggest things for breakups? Lack of communication. So I'm thinking, yo, I'm doing better, but I still got some work to go. You inboxed it. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. So I still got some work to go. I got a whole bunch of work to do. And I think about some of the issues that me and Kia have. That's majority of the time my fault. It is what it is. And I'm thinking, like, yo, this is what she wants you to say. This is how she wants you to express it. This is how she wants you to show it. This is how she wants you to do it. And I was like, okay. And if you think about the definition of communication, it's the imparting or exchanging of information. And the information that's up here don't always come out of here. It doesn't always come out your mouth. And that's where the barriers come in. Like you ever see like the kid who's like, they're always trying to show this or point to their mouth because they're hungry. And one of the things you say is, use your words. Use your words. But using words is not always easy, or sometimes using words gets associated with complications. And when we sometimes use our words and we put negative stuff on it, we tend not to use them properly. And that's another thing, using the word properly, using the word outside its context. And it causes a lot of problems. But communication does not always words. Hell, sign language is a form of communication. You can send smoke signals. That's a form of communication. But it's only communication if both sides understand it. Matter of fact, I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Because nobody ever calls me. But this will be the day somebody decide to call me. Right, body language. That's right, babe. Body language is a form of communication. But it's only communication if I understand your body language. Or interpreting your energy. Misreading your energy is the biggest issue. Not understanding what I'm trying to convey. If I'm sitting down pouting like this, it don't necessarily mean I'm mad. If I got my arms folded, sitting back and quiet, I may not be mad. I may be just thinking, or maybe wandering off. But this is where they say use your mouth. Instead of saying, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. Then why your arms folded? I'm just folded. But it's maybe if you come up and say, hey, you everything good? Your arms folded? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just thinking. You know, like Kia said, the tone changes, and now we can start interpreting things different, knowing that, hey, that's just the way he is, and not everybody does everything the same. You know, if I space out one way, it may not be the same way somebody else space out. And that's what we got to get to. It's like, okay, how can I interpret the message? You know, or actually when I am mad or upset or my energy is shifted let's say at my mate. How's she supposed to know? Or how they supposed to know? So sitting around pouting and they supposed to know that you're upset, you're uncomfortable, you got a chip on your shoulder. Excuse me, you got a chip on your shoulder. And that's one of the ways I know I struggle at. You know, hey, babe, I ain't like what you said earlier. It didn't come out right. Or express to me what you actually meant. Because I might have misinterpreted that, and I may be getting upset for no reason, and it's picking with me, it's messing with me. Now, and it could be well said like, hey, it was something that came off wrong, or I interpreted it wrong, because we all don't communicate the same way. You know, especially like we talk about love languages. We had a whole segment about love language. Your love language is not the same as mine, so I have to learn how to communicate in your love language. How to understand what you're requiring because of your love language. Because I'm gonna treat you in my love language. I'm gonna put how I want to be treated on you, but that's not what you require or not what you desire. And that's what and that's what I want to focus on is how can we go about from breaking that barrier down or that form of miscommunication to form a language where we both are on the same page. Because if we're not on the same page, we're not going to move forward. And that's a big thing. When we get stagnant and we don't move forward, and then we end up breaking up. And we go back to what I was saying earlier. What's the big thing why we broke up? Communication. You know, sometimes little forms of communication can go a long way. Forms of way is okay. Say, me bringing flowers to you is your love language. It's a way of saying I love you. Where to me, just rubbing my back or making my plate is how I express, or doing things like this how I express. And I never buy you flowers because gifts is not my love language. Acts of services or acts of kindness. So this is where we had to come another way and look at it. You know. And another way that I was thinking about was messing up when it comes to creating a barrier. And she said it, assumptions. You know, I'm assuming this or assuming that. And it's 9 times out of 10 when you assume, or 8 times out of 10 when you assume something, you're probably wrong. Especially in the early parts of relationships. You're gonna be wrong. Oh, we're in tune, we're in line. Okay. You can be in tune on your line you want. You can still be wrong. Wrong. What's wrong? I mean, there's no perfect person. We're all entitled to be wrong. We just gotta figure out how not to keep being wrong on the same damn thing. And that's what the key is. Okay, I misinterpreted because I assumed. Let's affix the assumption. Let me use my mouth. Let me use my words and see what you was really feeling, what you was really requiring, what you was really trying to say. And that's what I'm trying to get at, cause when you make too many assumptions and don't address it, your feelings really work on your feelings will really be hurt, and the other person's feelings going to be hurt as well. Now instead of one person being wrong, two people got or being wrong or being emotionally, I don't know, hurt, damaged. I won't say damaged, emotionally off. You know. So what I also want to get at is using your words is also can be hard as well. Because instead of asking or getting to it, like, yeah, if I say something, I may offend them. Or if I ask them, they're gonna retaliate because I asked them this. Or if I ask them, they're gonna be in a worse off mood. And that's what I do a lot. I don't use my words. You know. And I can also tie that back into a people pleasing state of mind. I'm hurt, or I feel some type of way, but I don't want to bother them. I don't want to put them in a bad mood or put them in a bad state, because I want to make sure they're good. I want to make sure they're happy. Not think about how it's tearing me down emotionally or inside, trying to make sure somebody else is good. There's a balance for that. And I like I said, this is my personal experience. This is one where places I struggle a little bit. I'm getting better, but that balance of not hurting myself in order to save some or protect somebody else. You can do both. Or stop making assumptions that you're going to hurt somebody else. Stop carrying the weight or burden or trying to please everybody else, but and not taking care of yourself. You know, we talked about people pleasing before in other lives. And what happens is I'm too busy worried about everything else, and I'm actually degrading my own relationship. And there lies a problem. People pleasing is a communication barrier. Stop pleasing sometimes and satisfy the need. The need is communicate, break down the walls. Don't close the blinds on the window so you can't see the other side. Those are the barriers that we have to try to break down. You know, hell, if you want to send some smoke signals, fine. Just know the person who's receiving it can understand the smoke signal. You know, another form just came to me, putting on the front, acting like you're happy, nothing's wrong, and you putting the barrier up of showing that, hey, there's nothing wrong, but there's something really is. And one of the things that we do is instead of letting pleasing our mate, let your mate be your helpmate. And that's something else. A helpmate. You can't help me, or I can't help you, if we're not understanding each other. You know, one of the things when I was talking about assumptions, you know, people who probably been around each other or been married 1,002 years, and maybe they can't understand each other's body language to that degree. But you probably ask them Is that the best form of communication for them? They're going to probably tell you no. I wish they would do this, or he knows to do this. If he see me act this way, he know he needs to communicate to me this in that manner. So maybe the assumption could be just a clue. And the clue is open your mouth, or the clue is address it. 1,002 is too many lifetimes. No, it's not. When you're tied in forever, you're my forever person. Through life and through spirit, you're gonna be tied. So 1,002 is all right with me. But I was saying that, addressing it in the form that we know is still going to get addressed and communicated properly. The clue is, the assumption is it could be the clue if you solve the mystery. In the court of, in the court of law, I assume they killed that person. It's not gonna get you convicted, theoretically, And that's what So getting past these assumptions and addressing what we need to be addressed is what's gonna need to be done. And I'm gonna tell you another one that'll get you. Jokes and sarcasm also can lead to assumptions. Jokes and sarcasms are fine. I am not degrading, demeaning jokes and sarcasms, because I am the king at it in my mind. Now, how somebody takes that joke or that sarcasm, there again goes back to the assumptions. I would assume they just know it's a joke. I would assume they just know it's sarcasm. Or the person on the other side of that joke or that sarcasm, he say he joking, but that's how he really feel. He probably said the joke one too many times. Or you keep making references to it. You keep making references to it in a sarcastic ass way. You probably feel some type of way. That's when you address it. Hey, buddy, I heard you make that joke. What exactly did you mean by it? It was just a joke. If I offended you or make you think a different type of way, I'm sorry. That's not the way it's meant to be. Open your mouth. Use your words. No. We are not children just learning to speak. We are full-fledged adults who have to teach children how to speak. And if we can't communicate properly or break down these barriers, how can we teach the children, the generation, not to do the same thing or how to communicate properly when they go, as they progress in their life? Because it's a good chance they want to have a relationship, or they want to talk to somebody, or they want to date. And, I didn't think about dating. But think about it. When we're dating, we really have to put our communication skills to work. No, that assumption is really dangerous. I'm assuming that he wants the same thing I want. No. I am assuming he just wants me for sex. No. Maybe in addition to, I assuming he wants to be in a monogamous relationship. No, we're just dating. This is where we communicate again. When a person say, hey, this date, I'm just dating right now. I am not looking for anything serious. I communicate that to you. I'm taking that barrier away. I'm taking the barrier of the assumption away. Or on the other end, hey, are you looking to be serious right now, or are you think you're gonna be? You just want to date for a long time? Let's get it on the table. Let's take the assumptions away, because if I spend too much time assuming and time is, we know, has no refunds. You're not getting that time back. Like, oh man, I just wasted time assuming that this person is on the same page. Are we really on the same page? We didn't know, because we had a barrier of assumption. The clue was, I assumed he was on the same page. Well, the clue should have told you, let's address this. I like we get along. Are we going in the same direction? Those barriers are more than just barriers. It could be blinders. Barriers can lead to imagination. If this barrier is a blinder and I can't see what's on the other side, I'm going to imagine a rainbow. No, it's still raining over there. All because we didn't take down that barrier. And that barrier, and then also that barrier carries over to everything else. Yeah, babe, she like to say about bricklaying. You ask her about it, she'll tell you about laying bricks. That's another form of barrier. And the best way to break down a barrier is not to even have one. By developing all forms of communication, developing communication skills that we probably forgot, stop using, let emotions get in the way of us using them properly, letting our shortcomings make us stop using it. I'm a people pleaser. It's a shortcoming. It affects my communication skills. Don't fix myself and I can fix my communication. Or at the very least, adapt it as I heal, or as I get myself ready, or as I develop myself. These barriers can lead to breakups. And one of the things I want to get across is learning to understand each other's language. Maybe I do need to understand your body language. And if I understand your body language, and part of what understanding your body language and know if I need to ask about it is to ask you originally. Ask you from the get-go. What you thinking? You good? And the person I'm asking to needs to be on the same wavelength as me able to answer honestly. No, I'm not. Oh, yes, I'm good. If I'm not, or you're not, are you ready to talk about it? Now we're keeping that, we not letting that barrier build up. Are you ready to talk about it at this moment, or do you need a little bit of time to process? And that's when the honesty comes in. And the maturity of both parties saying, hey, you say you need a little time? Okay, I'll give you your time. When you're ready, I'll be in here, or I'll be over here. I'll be ready to talk with you. Those are things that I developed even more in this current relationship that I didn't have before. And not tell anybody, my previous relationships that didn't work, it's not all their fault. It's not all my fault. No matter what, both me and her, or me and them, both had our parts. I ain't gonna say it's 50-50 because my ego ain't gonna let me say that. But I had a significant part, and one of them was communication. One of them was assumptions. One of them was not opening your mouth. One of them was not using your words properly. Not seeing clues and addressing those clues to solve the mystery. The mystery it's not hard if you just break down the communication barriers and address it how it's supposed to be addressed. Hold on a second, give me a swig. Yeah. Normally I don't have to talk this long or this much. Usually I got my co-host, but she couldn't. She had some things going on, and I said I'm gonna take care of this tonight. I miss you. It's a lot easier with you than without you. But I like to hear anybody else. Hold on. Let me see what the comments say. Hold on. Communicating those needs maintains a healthy relationship. Absolutely. Communication is like vitamins. Communication is like nourishment to a relationship. It's like food and water. You can't survive without them. And I'm not trying to be funny. You ever watch somebody with a hearing impairment, and if they use sign language, they may be saying words, but the emphasis they use with their hands or forms of communication is expressive. But sometimes I look at it it's like, oh yeah, ain't no misinterpreting that. You upset, you mad. Those are things that we got to do. We got to address those things. Man, hold on, I'm trying to see these comments. My finger doesn't always move it like it's supposed to. Okay, so now we got. That's not my notes. I was looking at some other notes. I'm sorry. There's something else I wanted to take part in. Okay, now those are some of the main things I wanted to cover tonight. But this came to me just Monday because I was driving and I was thinking about that. Time alone allows you to reflect, and that's what I was doing. I was kind of reflecting. Playing music, nerding out, listening to podcasts, and things were just triggering. And I was self-analyzing myself. And I realizing the barriers to the communication process I have and I was maintaining. Because I'm not a perfect person. I'm far from it. And I want to improve myself, because if I don't improve myself and improve the way things I do, I can't maintain a healthy relationship. It'll wither. And it's like a drought. Trees and plants can't survive a drought. I gotta keep my relationship watered, nourished. And I can't be here talking to you and acting like I'm perfect. I can't be here talking to you and acting like I do everything right. I can't be here talking to you and fake this, that, and the other. I'm flawed in a lot of ways. And as I talk to you, these are how I improve myself. You ever have somebody say, now, say it to yourself out loud. Did that make sense when you said it? And that's kind of what this is doing. I'm talking it out loud. It's making more and more sense. Like, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to maintain this direction. Or I need to course correct here. You know, all the things that I say to you right now are experiences, thoughts, and observations. I observe people, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, if you don't observe the bad things as well as the good things, how can you keep from doing the bad things? And how can you embrace the good things to make it fit your relationship or my lifestyle? You know, even dating. If I didn't observe the proper way of, in my mind, courting a person, how can I do this? You know, even me learning to court, saying court country, I don't know. Even me learning to date people, I had to communicate to others and find different methods, or the proper, and to me, which could be considered the proper methods. I had to learn and watch and talk. Listen to ladies the type of ladies I want to talk to, and how they say they want to be treated, what they're looking for, and make them align into how I want to treat women. You know, to define a proper person. You know, we even talk about being head of household. You really can't be a head of a household if you got the communication barriers. You know, this is the way I would have did it. Now everybody gonna do the same things you're gonna do, the same ways. I can assume that, hey, if I'm gonna do it this way, she's gonna do it that way. No. Hey babe, can you do this to such? Can you get to such done? Or can you prioritize this more than that for me, please? And then guess what? If she has an issue with it, one thing she has no problem with is saying no. And if I don't like her no, we'll talk about it. And we'll come to the conclusion, what's the proper way for the household? Accepting that because she tells me no is not to be argumentative. Her no is a way of saying, I don't think that's the best course of action. And me talking about it, say, hey, why not? It shouldn't initiate because I said no. That's why I feel we should do it. No. And she knows she says no, and I ask her that way, she'll probably say, this is why. And I can always say, oh, that do make sense, or I don't think so. That don't seem right to me. And as we do that, there's no barriers being built. There's no blinders, no assumptions are being taken out the window. Let's get rid of it. It may be a long ass discussion. Lord knows, and I hate long ass discussions. I have a short attention span. Shit, I hate long ass discussions. But it has to be done. Communication is not a pleasant thing. It's not always a pleasant thing. You know, it's just it's just a way of exchange of information. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? We just exchange greetings. That's a communication. Just exchange it. Just an exchange. And that's all we're trying to get at. But the key thing about that, the no part, is not getting mad about it. Because it wasn't meant in a malice way. Like I said, she wasn't trying to be argumentative. And that's where the emotional growth that we all should have as we move forward. And not to assume that. God dang them assumptions. Boy, that they say it's an ass of you and me, but shit is a big ass. In a non-sexual way. But this emotional thing of communication. Communication also speaks to your emotions. You talking to me, and especially you're my mate, you're talking to me, you're talking to my heart. You're talking to my heart. As you talk to my heart, because I gave you my heart, I'm more likely to take it in a defensive way or internalizing way or insulting way, even though you may be joking or having to say in a sarcastic way. Your emotional attachment to somebody affects the communication, because they have a hotline to your soul, and that's like, and that hotline is like the bat phone. They can pick it up anytime and get right into your heart. So in those cases, you really have to be careful how you communicate, because at any time like that, the wall comes up. And through that miscommunication on that barrier, that could lead to a breakup. And guess what? When the person moves on to the next dating opportunity, that wall is thick based on the last relationship. Because you may not, hey, guess what? That may not be my person I'm supposed to be with. And just because we wasn't meant to be, that means our communication should be low. It should still be high. But if it was low and it was faltered, we just damaged each other for the next person who might be our person. And now we got work to do, not only on that relationship, but on ourselves. So everything we do affects our future. So bad communication barriers affects our future in one way or the other. And that's what I'm getting at. Is like, wow, that assumption can have a ripple effect. That is like, how throwing a rock can make a wave. So little things lead to bigger things, if not addressed. So address them while they're small. Address them while you can handle it. Change the oil in your car before you ruin your motor. And guess what? When you ruin your motor, you might as well get a new car. Are you really getting rid of your car because you change your oil? Are you really ready to get rid of your relationship because you didn't use your words? You didn't open your mouth? That's what, this was the focus for the night. So I'm about to start wrapping it up. But before I wrap it up, hold on, whoa. Before I wrap it up, one thing I want to talk about is new members. We have some new members that came into the group, and I want to tell them thank you for coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you see a new member, you buy a new member, give a shout out to them. Welcome to the group. We're over a year in. We're starting to kick it into another gear. Our first event is coming up February 18th. Look for it. It's the 80s, 90s music movie trivia night. The flyer's out there. Come on, let's enjoy this. We haven't did an event in a minute. I'm working, and guess what? As we putting the final touches on this one, we're already brainstorming for our next one. I want us to show everybody how we have a good time when we get together. Not just on Wednesdays, on these lives, but how we really rock it when we in person. You know, we always try to make things better, more fun, more knowledgeable. You know, we don't just do things for the forum and talking about self-love and healing ourselves for our relationships or in the dating world. We also want to have fun. You know, fun is healing. I'm not hell. If I don't have fun, I can't heal. Shit. Enjoyment is part of growth. Well, so come out, enjoy us. Enjoy us. Get together. Let's meet the new members. Come on out. Let's meet the other members. You know, put a face with the name. Put a personality with the face. Until then, love positive. And I'll see you in 2 weeks on Wednesday. Love y'all.